Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Redstone Warper here, and today I'm going to show you 5 really strange glitches to confuse your friends. So, as you can see here, I have completely floating water. I have floating sand, gravel, red sand carpet, signs, dragon eggs, anvils, banners, the whole 9 yards. We got headless pistons, we got floating rails that don't really make sense. Here you can see we have more floating sand, only this is safe to actually update because it's being held up by a lever. Make sense of that what you will. We got buttons, and you can actually flip these and they're just fine. You can do it with the carpet, you can push the buttons, you can ring the bells, you even can use sea pickles, anvils, and dragon eggs. Yeah, all of this stuff I'd say is kind of confusing. So make sure to stick around towards the end of the video where I'll actually show you how to do all of these really weird things. So I've already given you guys kind of a brief overview of some of the really weird things that you can do. And I guarantee you anybody who is not a technical player, or even a lot of technical players, might have no idea how you did this. And is definitely sure to confuse anyone who comes across this just randomly walking through the world, finding floating signs or gravity blocks that are just floating in the air. The really cool thing about this is, like here you can see we've attached lanterns to it and bells, and so you can create all sorts of these really weird looking things that don't really make sense. I actually really like the idea of using the dragon egg for like some sort of light thing, like maybe get like a grab a chain here kind of thing, and then and then that could be like some sort of chandelier that you hang from some sort of building. I think that just looks really cool because the lamp is being supported by the dragon egg, which is being supported by the lamp. And you guys might have seen the trick where there's a trick where if you just build up with any block here, and you have to do it like really fast. So we'll place a block here, and you place it really fast, and you can glitch the sand to have something holding it up, but it's really hard to do. And people use auto clickers and stuff like that, but the way that I've made these is actually super easy and isn't really time consuming at all. In this case, believe it or not, it only takes a sticky piston, some slime blocks, a redstone block, and obsidian, and then of course whatever block you want to make float. So we'll just start with the sea pickles, why not? And this works for all of these floating blocks that you see. What we're going to do is we're just going to kind of build up, so we have a piston facing this way, and then we're going to make sure that it's pointing like you're going to pull this slime block, and then you're just going to connect it to the ground. If you don't have the ground nearby, you'll just place a piece of obsidian, whatever you need to do to make sure that this slime does not move, because that's very important. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to power the piston, place the object that you want to create float, and just punch out everything else. And as you can see, it will say floating here. Of course, right now, if I update this, it's just going to pop off. The way this is actually working is in the game's code. When it tries to retract the slime block, it doesn't properly update things around it, and so things that should be falling, like the carpet with no support, will actually just continue to float there. The way I created the floating water is much in the same way, using the same exact trick. So over here I just quickly prepared, because I'm not going to try to build this setup on camera, is this little setup where you have all of the piston arms facing into slime block. So all of the blocks that the water is touching is these sticky piston heads that are pointed into slime block that can't be moved. So to create the floating water, after getting this set up, which just takes a little bit of experimentation, you punch out all of the redstone blocks, and then it's, as long as you don't update the water, you can just break out all the blocks around it, and you have another piece of floating water. So using this quick little trick here, you can make a whole bunch of weird combinations of blocks that are definitely sure to confuse anyone who comes and finds them. The next weird trick that we're going to look at here is this weird trick in which we have these rails that aren't really being supported by much, and you can see that we can send a minecart over them, and it ends up working just fine here, and it's really quite interesting. The way we actually build these is we need some temporary support blocks. We'll just set here, and we put in our trapdoors so that they're facing like this, and then you would put in any kind of rail, although detector rails are not going to be your friend here. And then you want to make sure to actually power these before doing this, and then you can just open the trapdoors and they will be fine. Of course, if you update the rails after that, they're going to pop off, but it's just this really crazy illusion that you can make that just looks like it shouldn't exist. And so, of course, the rail minecarts can just go over it, but you can just fall straight through the cracks. So this could also be useful in some way or another. But so many of you are probably also trying to figure out how I got these headless pistons. And so here you can see, just by middle clicking on them, we have a sticky piston as well as a normal piston. Either will do fine. So the things we're going to need for this, if we just break this chest here, is we're going to need end crystal, something to light fire with, obsidian, and of course a power source. So we're just going to block up like this, just so that we don't destroy our terrain. And we're going to build this kind of little L bracket here, as you can kind of see down there. And then we're going to build this obsidian up like this. We're going to place a sticky piston in this case here. You do not want to power it yet. You want to put your fire charge here, your crystal here, and then you want to power it from somewhere where the crystal is not going to blow up your power source. So the piston pushes the end crystal, which explodes on the fire, which then blows up the piston head without blowing up the piston. Now the cool thing about this is completely stable. It's not going to change back as long as you keep it powered. So you can power it in a different place, and it will stay fine. Just make sure to always keep it powered. Now the weird thing happens that when we quasi-connectivity power it, now it just is here by itself, and of course placing any block will update it and delete whatever block you tried to place. Another weird glitch that will confuse your friends is this boat breaking glitch that I discovered relatively recently. Just push it up with the piston and it just floats really weird before breaking into sticks. But as you might have seen behind me, I'm not done there, because that was pretty cool the way it just kind of floats. But what if you can just have a whole bunch of them? Now that looks pretty cool. Wave machines always look really cool, and then they just float in midair and break into sticks and planks. But we can take this a little bit further and do a whole grid of them and make the most epic boat wave you've ever seen. And then they all break. So if for some reason you have a lot of boats around it and you really could use some planks and sticks, this might just be the solution for you. And if anybody was wondering like I have, this is exactly how many stacks of sticks and planks that we got from all of these boats. Well, there you have it. Here's some weird glitches that will definitely confuse your friends. It definitely confused me the first time, and still really confused me how a button can hold up a carpet. Thanks for watching. And for all of you people that stayed till the very end, the best thing that you can do with the headless piston trick is to quasi-connectivity power it, maybe build some sort of fake contraption around it, and then convince your friends that it will duplicate their diamond blocks and get them to place it right on the piston head.